I've been going to church since before I can remember. My family are believers, and as well as my grandparents and my great-grandparents on both sides. And so church is all I've ever known, and it's just been a place of community and family. And I moved around a lot when I was a kid. I've gone to 6 different elementary schools, I've gone to 2 high schools, and the church has just been a consistent in my life.
So what is the church to me? I think the church is a collection of like-minded individuals who want to go someplace where they feel supported, whether or not it's a real support or it's, a fictitious person who lives in the clouds. It's something that gives people reassurance. So that's a good thing, but I do not believe that anybody actually helps them in their life. I think God actually helps them in their life. So therefore, to me, the church is not a necessary component to being a successful human.
Church is basically where you just feel comfortable and willing to receive the answers that you were looking for. And yep, don't get caught. Don't get caught in a wrong path. Always trust your instinct. Always believe in yourself, because you're the one that's going to take yourself to heaven and not anybody else.
So I kind of grew up with 2 different perspectives, and I've kind of held those both at tension from what I grew up understanding and what I believe and trust in now. It was either the Christian church was an establishment that you went to on Sundays, or what I believe now is the church is people who have been called by God to honor God and worship God. And I think when I was growing up, my culture and my understanding from like movies or songs or things like that was that the church was just kind of a thing you went to on Sunday. You kind of paid your dues to your religious service. You kind of just, went there, and then that was it. So when I came to college and started, going through school and stuff like that, that was the first time I actually experienced the church body rather than a building. So there was a fear in me of never, going to church before in all my life, and, fearing that I wouldn't fit in, or I wouldn't know what to do, or I'd do something wrong because of what I understood church to be. So that was kind of my understanding going into it, is either I'm gonna burst into flames or I'm just not gonna fit in, and it's gonna be horrible.
It has been a place where you feel like you belong, because there is a different narrative in the secular world, and I feel like it could be easy to get lost or caught up in what the world is doing, and coming back on Sunday realizing that there's people who love the Lord just like you do, and who are going to put Him first. And so to be around people who can encourage you to continue to fight the good fight is amazing and a blessing. And I think the church is a way of God loving us and giving us people who can care for us.
There was this opportunity where we met this young man, and he was very talented on guitar. We came back, shared with the church, hey, we met this young talented guy. He plays good Christian, nice solid Christian rock, and yet our leaders basically took the group that I went with, and they all let us know that that wasn't right, that we have our own musicians in the church.
They would try to basically force it upon you or try to get you to act a certain way, which again has nothing to do with your religious actual relationship with Christ. It has only to do with the image of what they want you to project and how they want to be seen as a church or a school or a family or whatever image you're trying to project. I don't care about going back. I have no interest in going, and I don't really have any need to go as far as I can tell. My life seems to be doing just fine.
There's got to be more than it just being an establishment or a building that you go to. There has to be something totally different. So I placed my faith in the Lord in June of 2012 and started walking with the Lord since then. And I feel now, as a Christian, as a believer, even with my experience of, different churches and things like that, I feel more than ever that the church isn't a building or an establishment that you go to on Sundays and then you walk away. But I feel like the church is more of called out people who have been redeemed by God to go out into their communities and share the gospel and to spread it to people. And I think back on like those individuals who just asked questions and were like, hey, are you a Christian? Yes or no? Like, what do you think? What do you think about God? What do you think about Jesus? Those people were more of a church than buildings that I went to.
But there are people I know and respect, including past teachers of mine, past coworkers, some friends that really do believe in it. And so I would never say they're wrong. I just don't want it for myself. If there is a God, I don't think he cares about people. So I'm agnostic in that way, and that if I believe there could be a God, but I don't really think he cares about humans on earth.
Recently, I have been struggling financially, and I hadn't told anyone that could really do anything about it. And I've just been praying, like, God, please provide in this area, because I know that you're big and you can do whatever you please. And literally someone anonymously donated money to me, and it took care of exactly the thing that I was worried about. And just to see God move through his body, move through believers, and take care of each other is why I still continue to go to church.
What I desperately appreciate now is you're being called by God. It's not just a place. It's so much more than that. And it's so much more of a family than, a membership that you have. It's more of a citizenship than, a tithe that you pay to a building. It's more of, a relationship with a holy God who has called you into a family and has saved you for so much more than showing up on a Sunday and living your life exactly the same and not changing a thing about your life because you haven't been changed by the gospel and you haven't been changed by him. So it's kind of what I think the church is. So yeah.